We are on.
Yep, we're live. Yeah, we're live.
Just give it a few minutes to see if anybody jumps on.
YouTube's all right.
I didn't advertise it in advance.
Yeah.
Okay. Angel, today is the duo. Yes, it is. Greetings.
Hello, Angel.
Hello, Alison.
Oh, of course, Alison's quick.
I told her I spoke to her today.
Uh,
Because I know I didn't advertise this very far in advance. We're just waiting for a few more people to jump on. If they will, or if they do, then we shall get talking. Same here. But now we can only get on when we can. It's not every week. So we try. It's nice to be missed, I think. Did you make notes?
no, not really.
I didn't.
I didn't. I just thought I'll just
Because
I'll just do my natural.
this is a subject.
My natural notes.
I've been busy with schools. Let me read it from here. I can't read that.
Oh yeah.
It's too far. Still in class, peeping in to say hi.
Oh.
Okay. Well, stay as long as you can, or come back. We might still be around. Although I think today we won't be too long. But let's see. Let's see. You ready?
Yeah.
Go on then.
You must start.
Yes. For a change. It's always me doing the introduction. Like, what's that guy that used to be on? Jerry Springer.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so as you can see today by the title, we're going to be talking about different black people, as they would call it, and from different areas of the world, and the cultural aspects that come along with that.
Their behavior towards each other.
Yeah, and the way that they treat each other, even though we all know they're basically the same people, or they should at least see themselves as the same people, because why not?
Same bloodline.
Yeah, same bloodline.
Or bloodlines.
Came maybe from the same place, or etc. But just because maybe they've grown up in a different place, they think that they're either higher than that person or better than that person, or just generally they think they know more than the other person. Even because a lot of people in the UK, for instance, that are from like Jamaican or Caribbean or African descent, they may accept their heritage and accept that they're Jamaican or somewhere in Africa or whatever, but they still believe that they're better than the people that are back in the countries where their
roots are.
Where they come from. So they'll be saying, oh yeah, but I'm not. This is a term that is a British term, actually, fresh. Yeah, and the term means that's what you call somebody when they're fresh from the country.
When they came recently.
Recently, yeah. So they're fresh. Yeah, oh, you're fresh. And it's an insult. It's not a thing like, oh, you're fresh and you're popping. No, it's an insult, and it means that, oh, you're so fresh that you don't understand the culture here, so you can't mix in well. You're always going to be some standout person, maybe because you have an accent, or you eat different foods, or you dress differently, or you have different views. So if you come to school and you're talking with your accent, people are going to be, oh, that girl or that guy is so fresh. You can tell they just came here the other day.
Mm.
and all these sorts of comments. And, you know, I think that, of course, what should happen is that as you mature, you should stop saying these things. But as we all know, there are some people that still, even till now, they're still saying these things. They're grown people and they're calling people fresh. How does that make any sense? You're not a child anymore, you know what I mean? Yeah, but this is what they do. Even at school, I felt sorry for those people sometimes because they didn't even do anything. But people used to be like, oh, they're fresh. And even people say they don't want to be friends with them or speak to them because they're too fresh and all these sorts of stuff. And you have to really think about on a different in a different mindset. Where's the idea of fresh coming from? Yeah, where is it coming from? And I'm sure you know it's coming from the white people because you're not adhering to how they believe you should be acting. So, black people that are born in the UK, of course, they're accustomed to British culture, even though they're still not fully British as what white people would think. We are still British, and we are accustomed to the culture. Things that are here are not unnormal to us or strange to us. You know, we don't find it strange when people are obsessed with the football or want to know, you know, these sorts of things. We don't find those things strange. Going to have your dinner at the pub or whatever, these type of things are not strange. But in other cultures, they would be saying, well, what am I going to the pub for my dinner? What rubbish is that? You know what I mean? But, and you know, like I said, people, because you're accustomed to it, when somebody then comes with maybe the full culture, even if that is your actual culture, your actual heritage, because you only have part of your culture, you then think that there's something wrong with this other person because they're not the same as you. They're not accustomed to the UK ways or whatever. And it's the same for the African people. When you go there, they're laughing at you when you're trying to speak your language because maybe they're thinking, oh, you sound British or you don't sound like how
You
you're
don't
supposed
sound
to
like
sound.
you used to sound, or sound like you should because your accent has altered.
Yes, exactly.
Or if it's somebody like me, it's even worse.
They'll be thinking, you know, what even accent is that? They're trying to understand where you're from, and even like when I went to Jamaica, they basically saw me as a white person. You know what I mean? Even though I told them I'm from Jamaican descent,
They're not interested.
They're not
They're like,
interested.
nah, you're white.
You're English. And all the time, my name was England. Nothing else, just
Not
England.
even a name.
Not even a name. England.
Or English.
Yeah, or English. That was it. Or sometimes they thought maybe I was Indian, maybe because of how I look or whatever.
Skin color and texture and so forth.
So they thought I was Indian. But yeah, and they would even try to, because they said to me, oh, you're not Jamaican, you're English. You don't know what we're saying, and all these sorts of stuff, trying to quiz me on the language to see if I truly know what they're saying or not. And when I did, they were shocked. Shocked. Oh.
But you told them who's their dad.
Exactly. So I told you what my heritage is. And when you actually know your heritage, you're not going to go somewhere else and somebody is going to make you feel like you're not part of that culture. You have to carry yourself in a way that you know who you are, you know your roots and your culture and your heritage. And it doesn't matter if you were born in a different place, that's still your bloodline and still your culture and where you came from or where you originated from. And you shouldn't have to be, you know, oh, I don't know if I want to go to Jamaica because people are gonna think, oh, I don't know anything anymore, or you know what I mean. And I think it's happening too much now. You can't. I don't really know why people are hating on each other because we're living in different places. We all know we didn't all choose where to live in the first place. Yeah.
People of color have their own, you know, which I put in brackets political because the term black is a political, sociological term,
Yep.
which we've gone into that before. So I'm not going to go
Yeah.
into the nuances of that again.
Hmm.
And for those who might wonder, well, why have I put political in brackets? Because all of this really is what I would call black politics.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? I missed off putting African Americans, USA,
Yeah.
but we're going to talk about them in the context of what we're talking about as well. And they're probably the worst,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
It's true.
um,
Gosh.
because African Americans, as they call themselves, see, let's break that down first. That's number one. Let's talk about what they call themselves,
Mm.
nationally. People of the darkest brown color
Mm.
in America call themselves African Americans.
Mhm.
Now, that term is not only used by, the politics and the sociological people, the people themselves embrace that term and call themselves African Americans.
Yeah.
That's fine, because what they're saying is that they are saying that we are linked with Africa.
Mhm.
And then as soon as that link is discussed, it immediately begins to talk about slavery.
Mhm.
Now, for those who don't study and understand the history of mankind in general, that's where it starts and finishes for them. Oh, yeah, we are African American
Because we're descendants
because
from
we are
slaves.
descendants of African slaves.
Mm.
So that's how they make that correlation.
Hmm.
That's fine for them. My issue with it is what happens next. And I have actually literally done this, in terms of conversation to see.
Mm.
Oh, you're an African American, so actually you're an African. No, 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 no,
Mm.
no. We don't have anything to do with those
I'm
guys.
not African.
I'm not African. Africans are different. I've been to the States. I've seen how they treat Africans from Africa, as in who have come from Africa directly, flown to the States and stayed there.
Mm.
I see also how they treat Caribbeans,
Mm.
Jamaicans and others who have flown from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, come into the USA and stayed there.
Yeah.
They see them as different.
Yeah.
We'll come to the USA, to the UK last when we talk about that, because that's a big issue in itself as well.
Mm.
But I've seen it with my own two, even their view, their mentality. Oh, what kind of food is that you're eating there, man? And all this type of thing.
Island food.
You're eating island food.
All them
What does that even mean? You're eating island food. For a start, there are many foods which Jamaicans eat, for instance, which Nigerians also eat,
Yeah.
Ghanaians also
Yeah.
eat, and we could go on.
Yeah.
And even Portuguese and
Mhm.
Spanish. And for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know that story already, you know that the first people who came into the New World, which the New World being the USA, the continent,
Yeah.
which is the continent of the United States of America, Canada, and South America and Central America. The first people who came there came from Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
The first people of dark brown color.
Mhm.
And that's not including the ones who already were there from time,
Yeah.
because they want still to make you believe that there wasn't any there before. There was. The first ones into the Caribbean were also from Spain and Portugal. They were not from Africa.
Exactly.
And the first ones who went there willingly.
Mhm.
They did not go as slaves.
Yep.
That's a whole nother story. But all of what we're talking about, which I've termed for, at least let me call it black politics
Yeah.
for
Black
now.
politics.
Why is this going so dark? What's going on?
I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, see, as soon as you touch it, it lightens up.
Yeah. I don't know what YouTube are on.
And what I'm terming, if you like, as black politics,
Mm.
has to do with the fact of how we people, of the so-called black color,
Mm.
and I keep saying so-called because I don't accept the term that I'm black. but let's use it in this context.
Yeah.
So-called black people, the way how we divide each other
Ugh.
and categorize each other and then treat each other as a result of our categorization. It's an issue. It is an issue. As I said, you know, African Americans, many who I've met, oh no, 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 they don't even hardly see any affinity, with but yet they're calling themselves African American. If that's the case, they should just drop the title and
Just call themselves American.
call themselves American. And if they were born in America and many can trace their roots back, generationally, several generations, they're American,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I put in brackets political, because we've got to understand where all of this comes from and where it starts from, because they're putting that label there to let you know, well, then you're not really part of America. You're an African American, so you're not part of America. Because even the term that they use, Native American,
you're trying it.
What are you saying? And then the white people in America are just Americans. And yet who are they?
They should be called
Italian Americans. They should be called immigrant Americans. Italian Americans, Spanish Americans, Mexican Americans, Irish Americans, English Americans, and so on, Dutch Americans, you know. And this is what I'm saying, because we're going to go a little deeper into this when we speak about the UK side of it, because this is where guys now in the UK, and when I say guys, I mean male and female, they are having literal identity crisis.
Yeah.
Because of this us versus them versus them versus them, all of this business. Instead of saying, well, if we all look the same, and even if we have a different accent, technically, if we all look the same, then there is our similarity. That's where it begins.
Yeah.
And that's even outside of beginning to talk about the fact that all humans are supposed to be the same.
Yeah.
That's even a whole other aspect of the story in itself. But the fact is that we have a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe what we're going to say, over the next half an hour, whatsoever it may be, some people have never seen it that way. But some of the young people, if they're truthful, male and female, they know what we're going to say. They know it's all true.
Yeah.
That it is an issue right here in the UK. It is an issue,
especially here.
And it's much more complicated than even just how we knew racial prejudice in the sense of or racial discrimination, whichever one you want to use the term as. They have similar outcomes, even though they're not necessarily the same term. In terms of how the white people treated so-called black people. That one we're clear about, and we understand, and we know, and we can see that it's still existent and it's still going on in different levels and different styles. Not really going to talk about that if possible, because that's not what we're here for today. But what people have not picked up on is and I call it, now, somebody the other day told me, this is his view, that racism only has to do with power and control. That was it. That was his understanding of and so I thought, okay, I know why he said that, because he's gone and looked at dictionary definition and decided that the dictionary definition says racism is only to do with power and control.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's seeing it that way, because it's to do with it's only to do with power and control. But it isn't.
Of course not.
It isn't. Because then that would make the view then that, oh well, an African person, let's say from Ghana, cannot be racist towards a Jamaican.
Yeah.
Someone of Jamaican descent, or somebody of Jamaican descent cannot be racist towards somebody from Trinidad. Well, we know that they are. Not only can be, but that they are.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what we're going to talk about. and talk about maybe, some experiences that we have personally,
Been through,
you
yeah.
know, and talk about reality of what is. Now, one of the things that I did want to mention, and it's not,
Mm,
um, maybe we might come back at that one as a separate topic,
mm,
but I just want to say something because I want to put this out there, on record that there are some people going around who are speaking, and these are people who are at least my color,
mm,
and darker, some, and maybe some even lighter, but
mhm.
they would call themselves within my color, the political black.
Yeah.
They're speaking against mixed marriages, mixed relationships, and all this type of thing.
Mm,
Now, let me make it very clear. If we even speak and say this is the result of what the white man has done, as in we're talking politically
mhm.
and sociologically. We're not talking about every white person who we meet on the street. That every white person who I've met is a devil.
Yeah, no.
Every white person who I've met is racist.
Yeah,
Every white person who I've met is wrong. We're not talking like that because that's a load of rubbish
yeah, it's
and it's
lies.
wrong.
Mhm.
Her grandmother on her
Exactly.
mother's side is white,
Yeah,
right? She's Italian, so we know Italians are the,
they've got
they're
a bit of
us.
something there.
But
They've
even
got,
so, they're
yeah,
white,
politically
but
white.
political white. That's what they would be termed as.
Yeah.
So that's also part of who she is,
Hmm.
and that's also another reason why when these people start with their tripe and rubbish and nonsense about we shouldn't be mixing, with the others and all of this, don't come to me with that rubbish because you're going to make me get
Yeah.
vexed and turn me into a little crazy man
Yeah.
because it's rude and out of order, and it's not. That's not what we're talking about. Even the reason why we are even talking about the part of it that we are is to highlight it and
Mhm.
address it and show people, look, this is what's happening,
And it's wrong.
and stop it.
Yeah.
Where young people are having this identity crisis and are then actually against each other because of some of the stupid nonsense things. There's a place where it actually starts,
Mhm.
but you don't have to carry it on. Because let's say if we talk about, the racism, and I'm going to read the definition of it in a minute, just to prove a point as well. Whether you want to call it, because this person who was saying there should be no mixed marriages, and we, as in we people of color, he means black people should
Mhm.
only marry black people. That's
Yeah.
what he said. He didn't quite put it in exactly those terms,
Yeah.
but
But
he
that
meant
was his.
that's what he meant.
Hmm.
Black people should only marry black people.
Yeah.
White people should only marry white people. And as far as I'm concerned, I told him, get out of here.
Yeah. Pure
Nonsense.
rubbish. Pure absolute
Rubbish.
rubbish. Because how would I
Nonsense.
exist?
And the color of your skin is not the issue.
No, it's not.
It's the content of your heart.
Hmm.
And hence the reason why we're highlighting that even amongst people of the same so-called political color, as in black, they still are dividing, and dividing.
Yeah.
Hence Africa versus Jamaica versus even Jamaica versus small island, as some
Mm.
Jamaicans term it, which is rude.
Yep.
Oh, Jamaica is a bigger island. Jamaica is more powerful. Jamaica has had more influence in the world than some of these little small islands. That's rude. But all this division stuff that starts out there, when now younger people pick it up, they pick it up in their style, and it's also a problem on the streets,
Hmm.
in school, and beyond.
Yeah.
And people are like sort of pretending that it doesn't exist, but
Yeah.
it is an issue that.
Well, it's becoming a new thing now, isn't it? Oh, um, black people can't be racist. Excuse me.
This is
I will
what
never accept that. I'm sorry, but I
this is
will
what they're saying.
never accept that rubbish because that is absolute foolishness.
Mhm.
What's
Oh
he saying?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hi Nancy.
Hello.
Oh yes, Sarah. Yes. Let me
What's he
read what
saying?
she's put. Sarah said, John, remember the girls in the park arguing who is from Eritrea, Syria, Iran, etc. When he went to walk the dog, very sad. Oh
Yeah.
yes, let me mention that story. Um, we were out, myself and Sarah. We were walking the dog, and yeah, we sat down on a bench.
Mm,
There were two young ladies. They're both teenagers, early teens,
mm.
and they are both from Eritrea. But one, and how do we know they're both from Eritrea? Because they told me from before.
Yeah.
So
I know which girls you're
I
talking
was
about
listening
then.
to their conversation, and these two girls, and they're just girls, teenagers, early
Yeah, they're
teens,
young.
they were arguing, and because one of the girls has a lighter texture
Yeah,
than the other.
yeah.
One of them has
It's got a deeper color in it.
deeper coloring, and the hair is and actually, and here's the funny
It's an
thing:
opposite
the
way, isn't
hair
it?
is the opposite way round.
Yeah.
The one with the deeper coloring has more silky hair.
Hmm.
The one with the lighter coloring has more coarser hair. So they began arguing with each other. Oh, you're mixed. You're no, not me. You're mixed.
Yeah.
I'm real Eritrean. So am I, said the other one. No, you're not. You must be mixed with Syrian because look at the texture of your color. That was what she said. So the other girl said, if I'm mixed with Syrian, you must be mixed with trash.
I remember that.
At which point I said, young ladies, please come. And I
Yeah.
called them over and I said, look at yourselves. I said, you're the same.
Yeah.
I said, number one, you are both young ladies. You're girls. You are God's creation. Yes, we know that. I said, so then what's your problem? Well, she started it. I said, okay, she started it because what? Because she said, you're from Eritrea as well, but you're not really because your color is different. Blah 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 blah. I said, you young girls, what is this? You even come from the same country. You've come here to your families have come here as refugees,
Yeah.
and you're coming with nonsense at your young age. Now, a lot of people don't know that this is actually a reality.
Mhm.
But I talk to children and young people a lot.
Yeah.
I listen to them as well. I don't just talk at them. I listen when I speak with them, and I listen from afar.
Mhm.
And these are the kind of conversations that are going on. Because that wasn't the only time that I heard such a type of conversation talking about
Absolutely.
whose hair is
Yeah.
is is, is oh, you
Your
don't
hair's just
understand
this and that.
because your hair is easier to manage than mine, and that's because you're mixed.
Yeah.
And it said with as
Yeah.
if it's
As if it's some sort of
it's
atrocity
it's
or
it's
something.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, you're mixed.
Yeah. So you're not truly my people, so we're
You
not the
see.
same. And that's the sort of nature it gives off, isn't it?
Mm,
Where it's like people, it's like you're saying to someone, because I've had it as well, as
of
because
course.
being mixed. Oh, well, you're mixed, so you would never understand. And that's the sort of things that people want to say to me. Oh, yes, I'm not. And even if I say to them, are you crazy? Why wouldn't I understand the same issues that you have? Just because my skin tone is a bit lighter does not mean that I haven't experienced the same things as you.
Mm.
And still, they want to be said. This is what people would say. Yes, I'm not saying you haven't experienced those things, but it's not the same. And it's easier for you because you're light.
Mm.
How does that make any
That's
sense?
right. And now the issue is this, that for those people of color, what politically they call black people,
Yeah.
who say, oh, I'm not racist or racialist or whatever what they want to call it. No, I'm not discriminatory. Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
As soon as you began to speak, um and say, yes, that's true, Sarah, after I told them, they were still arguing the same thing again,
Yeah.
because it's obviously coming from their
It's
family
coming from me.
structure. It's not just coming from those two girls.
Mhm.
It's obviously coming from the family.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, because they're no, 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 we're not racist and we're not discriminatory. Then what are you?
Yeah. Because what are you doing?
You know, what do you call that? I'm going to read some definitions according to dictionary. And by the way, just because a dictionary gives you a definition, that alone doesn't make it correct. Well, the dictionary said this. Fine. The dictionary says whatever it says, but also you've got common sense, I hope. So if you do have common sense, when you look at the outworking of it in the world around you, that should give you some understanding to know this is a reality of what's actually going on. Because now it's not going to be it's not every day you're going to hear even a story like the one I've told you about two girls who are both from Eritrea who are arguing with each other until one is saying you're mixed with trash even. And I told them don't speak to each other like that. You know, and why? Oh, your hair is like this and my hair is.
She said, because I said that because she's not black like me.
She's not black like me. All these type of things. See, all of this, what do you mean? Not black like me. She's not black like me, according to what the political term means black. She's my child. So what? What am I saying? Yeah. And here is the nonsense of it that people have got to understand that it's pure absolute nonsense. Her grandmother is white. Her mother is half white, half black. My father was a Jamaican man and he's lighter than her. Sorry, was, because he's not alive now. He was lighter than her in skin color, lighter than her.
Yeah.
By far. Not even a little bit.
I always used to be like that to granddad, checking my skin color next to him.
I saw it all the time going next to him and seeing.
Yeah.
And he would be laughing and saying, I'm still lighter. And I'm still granddad. That was his next statement. Right? And so and he's neither his parents nor his grandparents, they're not white.
Yeah.
Right, but this is it's an issue, and now I know some people will be like, well, why do we need to think about that or talk about that? That's fine.
You don't understand.
That's right.
You know, I mean, you don't understand how you're making a person feel when you're saying these things, because even there's people that I know, and just like granddad, they're very light, lighter than me or as light as me, and both of their parents are what you would politically call black. People are then saying to them, oh, you're not really black, you're not, and if somebody does identify politically as black, you're making them feel like they don't have an identity, like they don't understand who they are or know who they are.
And so if we used the definition of racism, and you can call it because you can call it racial prejudice, racial discrimination, because this is the thing. Oh, I'm not racist. Well, racist is an overarching term, but you're talking about racial discrimination or racial prejudice or racial stereotyping.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we mean when you call somebody a racist. Right? So those who say, well, oh, I'm not because black people can't be, it's because they don't really understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
And for those, and let's go first back to what I began with saying about the mixed relationship business. For those black people who say that we black people must not marry or be involved with or intermingle with white people, you are racist.
Yeah.
Let me put that in plain English. RACIST. Racist.
Exactly.
Right? And why Sarah got this thing so loud?
I was wondering what that noise was.
Right? You're wrong. Yeah. You're out of order.
No, I can hear myself laughing.
Whichever right? Whichever way you want to look at it, you're out of order.
Yeah, of course.
You're out of order.
Because I remember in school when somebody said, oh, because there was this little period of time when, towards the end of school, when suddenly people were realizing that they weren't. People were letting go of their racist stereotypes and ideas, and suddenly these interracial relationships were happening, right? So I had nothing to say about these interracial relationships. The only thing I had to say was, oh, she's put a laugh. The only thing I had to say about them was that it was funny that people who were racist were now wanting to date what they would politically call black people. That's all I said. That then blew up to a whole thing of, I've got an issue with interracial relationships and I don't agree with them and they can't believe that I said this. And I just replied back, how can I have an issue with interracial relationships if I came from one? How would I be here or born if I disagreed with interracial relationship? How would some of my family members be here? They wouldn't be born, would they? Half of my family wouldn't even be here if I had some big issue with interracial relationships. And people need to understand that there's so many people in the world, not even just black and white, because it's across other countries and things as well, where, oh no, you cannot get with somebody that's like this, or you can't be with somebody that's even the same thing. It's basically, it's not politically black but darker skinned and those sorts of things. You can't be with somebody like that, or vice versa. People with the darker skin, you can't be with somebody white because, you know, you're, what do they say, you're selling out the race and all these sorts of foolish comments.
Yeah. And that goes
diluting us. That's the one.
Diluting us, and that goes back because we're going to hit all of it. We might not stay on here too long, but we're going to hit all of it.
Yeah.
And whoever will watch this later, they'll hear it. So I'm gonna hit about the mixed marriages as well, not just the white and black, but I'm talking about Africans marrying Jamaicans, as in Nigerians marrying Jamaicans, Nigerians marrying South Africans, Zimbabweans marrying Jamaicans, and I'm gonna go into all of that because there's all a lot of crap that has been talked about that as well.
Yeah.
And again, it comes out in the children and young people. Because first they hear what they hear in the house, then they come on the street with it, and they're going to school with the mixed up and blended up thing, and that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is, because those young people then have to unravel that, because mum and dad have taught some rubbish, or maybe even the grandparents. Oh, you know, I don't really want my daughter to be marrying, you know, one of them yardies or whatever.
Yeah,
then they go to school and their best friend is a yardie.
Yeah.
So to speak, you know, and what even does that mean? We are human beings, for goodness sake. You know, we've had enough of this already, from the oppression of, you know, slavery, colonialism, you know, and all of that stuff, and then we bring it and put it back on ourselves in another way. You know, I am in my 50s now, and I can remember this very clearly. I was a teenager. There was a friend we had. She's from a Jamaican background, Jamaican parents. In fact, she's Jamaican herself, born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So she met a guy from Zimbabwe, and they fell in love. And the guy said, "I want to marry her." Okay, he wasn't a Christian, and she was a church-going girl. So that was the first excuse that the parents used. They said, "No, no, 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 no. He's not a Christian. You're a church-going girl. We're not agreeing." So the guy started going to church. Now I'm going to be real. I'm going to be truthful, because I know them. I knew them. I wouldn't say that 100% that he really embraced everything of the church fully at that time, but he was trying in his own way, and he was trying also because he wanted to marry the girl.
Yeah.
Right. So the parents saw, okay, he's trying on that level. So then they went to the next thing. Jamaicans don't know anything about Africans. That was their thing. So anyway, the girl is now, well, you need to be more specific because he's from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we don't know nothing about Zimbabweans. They don't even eat the same food as we, right?
This is rubbish.
And all of this, and this is how the parents started. So none of that was deterring her. They tried all of that. Ah, you don't know what kind of funny food they eat from there and all of this. They tried their best to deter. Nancy's laughing, but it's true. They tried their best to deter till in the end she left. Because she said no, she's gonna get married. She left the mom and dad, and actually she came and lived in the house with us. Like I said, I was still a kid. She's a bit older than me. So she came and stayed there at home with us, and all the arrangements for the wedding and you know so forth. My dad was the one who supported her and helped her throughout all of that, organized the church, organized the whole thing because her parents refused. And why? Simply because you're marrying an African, you're marrying a Zimbabwean.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, those people, they're still married until today. They're married until today. They're still married. And I think they're even doing ministry or something. You know. But my point is that the parents just this discrimination.
Yeah, that's exactly what
was literally based on I come from Jamaica, you come from Africa, and
we don't know each other.
Jamaica, I think, is more superior than where you come from in Zimbabwe. Yeah. How do they even know?
Exactly, like they said, they don't know.
They don't know any. They even said it. They don't know anything about Zimbabwe, right? But no, no, she can't marry him. And I mean, because I was a child. I think I was a teenager, maybe. Yeah, I was a teenager. So when the meetings were had at my house, we were sort of sent out of the room. But I was never anywhere near out of the room. I was just right there listening. You know how it goes. So I heard everything. And whatever I didn't hear, I would just ask the lady afterwards, and she would tell me. So I said to her, well, how did the meeting go? And she'd be telling me, oh, my mum and dad, blah, blah, blah. They said this, that, we don't want such people in our family and all of this kind of business.
It's disgusting.
And imagine these people, all the same color.
Yeah.
In fact, the woman was much darker than the man she was going to marry. If you want to even, go into the nitty gritty, and none of that matters. But this is what, we like to pick those topics and subjects that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
They know they should, but they don't want to touch them. And this is really one of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, thank God until today they're still married and they're still together. But the parents, no way, blah, blah, blah. They used every kind of tactic that they could, and they could not deter her from marrying who she wanted to marry.
Yeah.
But my point is that hasn't stopped.
No.
And that was years and years ago.
Yeah.
But it hasn't stopped. That's probably like maybe, 40 years ago or something. Yeah. But it hasn't stopped. And the reason is because of the fact that this is not addressed on the level and in the way that it should be. So hence, and then people are, oh, well, I'm black. I can't be racist.
So what do you call that?
But you can be. You can be. And you shouldn't be, but you can be.
That's why it has to be spoken
exactly. Let me read what it says here in the dictionary definition. Racial discrimination. Discriminatory or abusive behavior towards members of another race. Unfair treatment of a person or group on the basis of prejudice. Now, here's the thing. Those stupid people say, oh, well, I can't be because we're the same race. You're correct, but not in the way you think. We're the same race because if you're a human, all humans are human. Yeah. Thank you very much.
We're all the same.
So we are all the same because we are all of the human race. But now here's the thing. What you're trying to say, you make it that there's a white race and a black race. Well, there's no such thing.
No, there's not.
Those are political, sociological terms, which you have then brought into and divided them even further.
Exactly.
Hence the fact that you say, well, these are Africans in that package.
Yeah.
These are Caribbeans or Jamaicans in this package.
Yeah.
And when you go even to the Caribbean, Jamaicans put themselves one side, Trinidadians over here, Barbadians over here,
Yeah.
Grenadians over here, you know, and so on and so
And the
on.
same in Africa.
You know, which is like a tribal thing, which we know is an issue in Africa also.
Yeah.
Kenya and Nigeria and so on. The
Mm.
tribal thing becomes also another issue.
Yeah.
And that's not, and that didn't have anything to do with the white man.
Not at all.
So don't try, you know, to point the finger of all of this, oh, this is the white man's fault, this is the white man's fault. Because all that tribalism doesn't have anything to do with color, does it?
Not at all.
You know, in Kenya, for instance, it can be as stupid as whether a man's penis has been circumcised or not.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't marry him because he's not circumcised. What kind of rubbish are you talking?
How does that even make sense?
Foolishness.
And what difference does it make? You know what I
But
mean?
they even, you know, they even go as far, oh no, this one can never be my president because his tribe, they're uncircumcised. Good God of heaven.
Yeah, because it's people don't understand, and that is racism and prejudice, and they can't see how that is. You'll be
It's 100% prejudice.
to a different either ethnicity or culture of people. Just because they look the same as you doesn't mean that
exactly.
It's them
and
now.
even if you didn't want to call it, because this is why I say it's all political, and that's why I put that there. Because you'll say it's not racial, but that's exactly what you're making it, because they're a different tribe or a different family. So therefore, it is still racial. Because we're all humans. A white man is a human, a black man is a human, a Chinese is a human, an Indian is a human, Pakistani is a human. So we're all the same there. But now you begin to divide it down further. Who is Luos? Who is Kikuyus? Who is what? That's me speaking about Kenyans. You know, if it's Nigerians, who is Igbo? Who is Yoruba? And so forth. You know, no, Yoruba will marry Yoruba. Igbo will marry Igbo.
Yeah.
And it is like that.
That's how it is still till today.
Even sometimes in churches, you'll see the churches full of one tribe.
Yeah.
One tribe.
And if somebody else comes there, even they're looking at them.
And they make them the outsider.
Yeah. Until people don't want to go there again.
You might be lucky if you've got a congregation where maybe the pastor is from one country and the wife is from another, then you might get a mixture. And usually still the people who are there are only from the pastor, the man's country or the wife's country.
Yeah. And that's the truth.
My God.
And even just as it was then in Dad's time, where parents are not agreeing with marriages or come.
You tell them.
Now.
You tell them.
I know somebody. I'm not going to obviously reveal
name
who
the
I'm
name.
talking about. Yeah, but somebody was getting married, and because they were getting married to somebody that came from a different country to them, their father decided he's not coming to the wedding, and he's not interested in the wedding at all. Because he said he don't know why she's not marrying someone from where they're from. And because she's not, forget about inviting him because he ain't interested. This is still till now that these things happen. And that's why young people my age, which I think I've actually spoke about this a little bit before, but like young people my age, I don't want to be specific, but a lot of the time it is the Nigerians. They will not marry somebody who is
outside
not
of their tribe.
Yeah.
And even their same tribe.
No way, no way.
And she's a young person right now,
and
right within the marriageable age range group, but whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So this is where it's at.
The comment says there was a time people from South in St. Elizabeth didn't want to get involved with the others from the other side because of the color, and it's St. Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So they're from the same place.
The ones from South, they're a lot more lighter colored than the others. Foolishness, but it's reality. And these are the things that people don't want to even address. But it then passes on to the children, whether because it's a spiritual
Yeah,
matter,
for real.
which it is to an extent,
Yeah.
and also because it's something that is you know, inculcated into the children.
Thanks.
You know, and this is part of the problem. Listen to this. For those who like to use their definitions,
Mm,
you know,
thinking they're high and mighty.
discrimination, the act of discriminating, the ability or power to see or make fine distinctions, treatment or consideration based on class or category,
Mm.
rather than individual merit. It's partiality or prejudice. Now, so for this particular person, I'm not naming any names, but I know my children particularly know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Talking about, you know, there should be
Yeah.
no mixed marriages, and he, you
Yeah.
know, that person was kind of pointing first at the black and white thing,
Mm.
but then saying that that's absolute discrimination.
Yeah, it is.
It is absolute discrimination.
And even before, when I said, so what about people like me? The person didn't
Got
have a didn't
haven't
have a
really got a
response.
response.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, at the time when the person said what they said, I got vexed until maybe if was face to face, I might have punched them in their nose.
Mm.
You know, because this is my child. So what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah.
That she shouldn't exist then because, you know, this mixed relationship business shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Don't try me with that. It's foolishness.
Yeah, of course it is. And people don't understand. Even there's people who are my age now, once again, because this is where a lot of it's coming out again with people my age, because of course now they're coming to the age where they're making life choices about who they want to
Who they
marry,
want to spend,
what person
you
they, who they want to have children
family
with
and
and
so
make a
forth.
family.
Yes.
And people are saying all the time, oh, I've seen enough of these mixed children now. I want full black children. And they can't understand
They don't know what
they're saying and how that can be hurtful to somebody. And even when I'm saying, well, why are you saying that? What rubbish are you chatting? Why does it matter? If you find a white man that you like, or an Asian man, as they would call it, or a lighter black man, as they would call it, whatever, and you love them and you want to be with them, then what difference does it make? Isn't your child still going to grow up to be however you grow them up to
Your
be?
child
You're not going to suddenly have a coconut child because their father is white.
No, your child will be a product of your parenting.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter whether the father or mother was orange with
blue.
pink spots.
Yeah, exactly.
The child will be a product of your parenting.
Yeah, exactly.
So either you will parent well or you will not, and that's what you will produce.
Yeah.
And that includes even the ones who go astray. The fact that they may go astray doesn't matter, because within them you still will know who they are because of what you put in them. So if you put the wrong things in them, then just know that.
Exactly.
And color doesn't have anything to do with that.
Nothing at all.
You know, but we ourselves, many of us, are so stupid that what we actually are fighting against, we do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Listen, whatever food you don't want to eat, you don't have to eat.
Exactly.
You know, but you don't have to make that now a prejudice.
Yeah.
You know that, oh well, it's those people that they eat snails and they eat termites and they well, don't eat them then.
Exactly. French.
I mean, hello.
And how come the French people aren't looked down upon for eating snails?
No.
Why? Because they're white.
Because they're white.
Yeah.
But when you hear that, you know, some Africans are eating them,
that's disgusting.
Listen, it is your choice. If you don't want to eat it, don't eat it.
Yeah. But there's Jamaicans that like cow foot.
Exactly, and cow foot to me is nasty.
I don't like
disgusting.
It. And that's not even a thing of, oh, it's cow foot. It's just
I can't stand it. My dad, when
nasty,
I'm telling you now, that day when he used to cook that cow foot and butter beans, I was sick. Right? Oh God, today I can't eat. Oh no, I'm not well. And I'd have to go crying to my mum and beg her, because if it was up to my dad alone, whatever is in front of you,
You have to eat
You
it.
die if you will eat it.
You already know.
I'd have to go crying to my mum. Mum, mum, we're English. Mum, we don't eat this. We don't eat these things. And my dad, don't care.
Yeah, you will eat it.
But I'm alive.
Yeah, exactly.
50 odd years later, I'm still here. So, you know what I'm saying? And you don't make a discrimination out of that.
No,
But
you
no, you're writing off the whole country
yeah.
because of the food.
Eat
What?
it if your stomach can take it. That's what Auntie Albert said.
but
But even that, other nations of people still eat cow foot. It's just a different recipe.
Exactly, of course they do. Lots of them.
Flavorings.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Many things have similarities and overlaps in what they eat. They just might cook it slightly differently.
Or
and
maybe
again,
use different spices.
You know, if you choose not to want something, that's fine.
Yeah.
But now when you're using it, that's a basis that no, these people are not they're not refined like us, and they are. We are. They're savages because look at what they eat. No,
and that's exactly what they do.
Yes, we know you do, Auntie Alma. We know you.
Nancy said about it's nice food, though.
Of course, that's what enough people like it.
Yeah, they do.
Lots of people like it.
Yeah, but still, that's what they try to use.
Same with what do you call it? Tripe. Don't give me none of them things.
It's even for me personally, I just can't eat that.
No.
You know what I mean? And lots of people love it off.
I know they love it.
They love it. You know what I mean? And that's got nothing to do with where it came from or who.
That's what I'm saying. Because I've met many other nationalities of people who love those things.
Yeah.
Now even my own family had asked me now when I've married to Sarah, who's a Kenyan. Hey, why have you married a Kenyan? I will not repeat to you on here because I'm a Christian and I'm saved. I won't tell you what I said to them, right? But it wasn't for anyone below 18 to hear. Let me put it that way, because they need to shut up. You know, who do they think they are?
Whose marriage is it?
You know, but the problem that we have is that they don't realize that this passes on now. Young people start, and then they even particularly in the UK, our young people of color here are in identity crisis.
For real.
They don't know who they are or where they belong. And why? Because of this Jamaica versus Africa, Africa versus Caribbean, Caribbean versus UK, UK versus this one. That's why they don't know where they fit.
Yeah.
They don't know.
They're not understanding.
And they try, because otherwise what you get is that you get things where you'll have a young person when they go to school, because that's where it starts, particularly high school.
Yeah, it's high
school. So when they go to high school, they start to mix, because maybe, when kids are a bit younger, they tend to be very much more assimilated in the family culture and household culture.
Yeah.
And that's quite obvious because, they're at home more, they spend more time with mum, also dad to an extent, so forth, and they're listening more to mum and dad. As they grow older, they spread their wings a bit more. So now by high school, they're going to be mixing with other people of color. Let's leave it at that first. They're going to be mixing with other people of color. So that means, okay, for instance, a Nigerian girl, from maybe Yoruba background, mum and dad have a certain style and behavior and things that they talk about in the house and all of this. So as she grows up, she's listening to all of that, probably believing most of it, if not all. And that's the pattern of her thinking until she begins to meet her peers in high school, who are the same color as her, but they come from Jamaica. Some are UK born and bred, but their heritage is Jamaica. Some are UK born and bred. There's some from some other Caribbean island. She begins to meet girls who are from Zimbabwe, South Africa, etc., etc. The perspective that she has now widens. She now says, oh, there's some nice boys who are from you know, from South Africa. Some nice boys who are from Jamaica. But mum and dad are busy at home.
No.
You'll be marrying a Yoruba boy.
Yeah.
Because blah, 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 blah. And this is what they're drilling on about. They now begin with this identity crisis. Because even when they go to school, high school, or when they're with their friends on the street, even the speech is different.
Yeah.
Even the speech is different. Because as far as the streets are concerned, the most influential language on the streets is Patois.
Yeah. There's only one.
And 100% roadman language is derived from Patois. Yeah. 100%.
People are now saying words.
You know, when it comes to roadman speech, Jamaica rules the world.
Yeah. And that's a fact.
Right? And yet then when they go home, back inside the house, that young man on the road is like, yeah, fine, what you're saying, yeah, you get me. Back inside now, he's back to being a Yoruba again.
Yeah. And even if he came home and even repeated those things on the road,
who's your friends?
Yeah, he's gonna get cussed. Stop hanging around them Jamaicans. Yeah, because that's usually how they pronounce.
Are they Rastas and all of this?
Yeah.
See?
Because every Jamaican must be a yard. You're a Rasta.
And those parents are Christians.
Yeah. And this is the truth.
Some of them are even preachers.
Yeah. Stop hanging around those people because they're this and they're that, and they're going to make you do this and they'll influence you to do this and that. Little do they know, it's actually their child who's influencing the others. Yeah, and that's usually the case. Or it's their child who's the one that needs to be watched instead of them watching what the other children are doing. And this is the norm, because even, once again, I'm not going to name names, but it's like when I've gone to certain people's houses, I can just feel the distaste from the parents. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the same as them.
And make it clear you're talking about people who are all the same color.
Yeah, we're all the same color. You know what I mean? We're all brown. I'm going in there, and when the person is, when maybe the mother or whatever is answering the door, they're answering the door, and even I'm seeing, when they're seeing me. And I'm thinking, and the first few times I kind of just, well, maybe I'm just being paranoid, but you start to realize the behavior and the kind of vibe that you're getting when everywhere you're going, oh, the person is off to the next area. They're not, do you know what I mean? They're going upstairs. If they're in the kitchen and you go to get a drink, they're going upstairs because they don't want to speak to you and they don't want to be around you because you're not from the same place as them. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. What rubbish.
And imagine this, right? Tamar is saying that about people who are of the same color, and she's probably talking about, you know, so maybe like she's gone to somebody's house, the parents are Nigerians, for instance.
Yeah.
And we're not riding Nigerians. So don't even go there. Right? Yeah. But let's say
that's just an example.
And that treatment that she's talking about, they're then turning around and say, oh, I can't be, it's discrimination. 100%. Let me give you my story, which you will automatically say is discrimination, but now we're missing it when it's Tamar's story. I was 14 years old, and I fell in love with this girl. 14 years old. She was my best friend. We went up and down everywhere together. I walked her home from school. Then I'd go home, do my homework, do all the stuff that I had to do at home. And she would be then telling me, when are you coming? So then evening, I'm gone back to her house. She's white, you know, English. Parents are English. So the first time I actually went into the house, because I used to go, so sometimes I'd meet her and then we'd just go for a walk to the park and, you know, by the river and blah, blah, blah. Then she said, Oh no, no, next time when you come, you're coming in. So because I already knew at 14 years old, I said to her, what about your mum?
Mm.
Now imagine, why have I had to ask that question? But of course, everybody who will watch this now, oh yeah, white and black people, we understand. Fine, let's keep going with the story.
Yeah.
Because Tamar just told you what happened to her, the way she did. So because this is the first time. I remember I was 14, and I still remember this ever so well.
Yeah.
The girl told me come at 6 o'clock. So I got to her house at 6, knocked the door, and her mother answered. I was going to say that answered the phone. Her mother answered the door. So mother answers the door with a face on.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
said, "Hello, I've come to see so and so." I almost said the name of the person. I don't want other people who know me to know who it was.
Yeah, innit?
So I said, "Oh, I've come to see so and so," and the mum's like, "Really?"
Mm.
Said, "Yeah," and she's like looking at me as if she didn't want to let me in.
Yeah.
So of course I'm a young man with good manners. I'm just standing there waiting.
Yeah.
Then she's like, "Oh, all right, come in," and then sent me off into this side room. And they had this horrible, ugly little dog that was the dog was racist like the girl's mum.
Mm-hmm.
The girl came down, said, "Mum, this is my friend John," and the mum said, "Yeah," and just stepped off. No, no discussion, no
Nothing to
nothing.
speak.
So and they had a big house. Every room we went in where her mum was, she left that room.
Yeah, you see.
We went to the kitchen. She wanted a drink. The mum was in the kitchen. She left the kitchen.
Mm.
She's not staying anywhere. And then she had the girl had two older sisters, and the mum was busy saying to the sisters, "Why'd she have to bring that black boy to the house?" So there you go.
Yeah.
Tamar's story isn't that far away from that.
No, it's
And
not.
this is people who are of the same color, who you might have thought we should already have some kind of
Yeah.
affinity between us because, we're of the same color and maybe suffered some of the same things
Yeah.
in life
Might even have a
and
similar culture.
similar culture
Mhm.
and so on. No,
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 the same treatment.
same kind of treatment and
Yeah.
behavior. What does that tell you?
And
You
that
know,
wasn't even a one-time thing. That was every time and that's why I stopped going round because every time I'm there, I'm feeling
you're
some sort
feeling
of
an atmosphere.
yeah, some sort of atmosphere like I don't belong here and they don't like me. They don't want me around. The only difference is that I'm not from the same place as them. How does that make any sense? And people think it's all right because just because oh well, you know it's all right. People can if I want my child to be all Ghanaian or all Zimbabwean or all whatever, it should be okay. And nobody's saying that your child can't be all Zimbabwean or all Nigerian or whatever. But what
Let
we're
them
saying
first
is,
be all human.
yeah, exactly.
Nancy said we should know that we are one.
Yeah.
Of course, and that's it. That is the problem,
Hmm.
and especially, and I know, I try to every time I say something, I try to put a disclaimer with it
Yeah.
so that people understand me properly.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, especially we who are of the same kind of skin color.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that is not because I have any issue about white people and black people being mixed together. I do not.
Yeah.
But because we who are of the political term black, we have had exactly the same struggles in life. We've had the same struggles in life.
Yeah.
It will be first your skin color, it will be your culture, it will be your language, it will be your accent. We've all had the same struggles.
Yeah.
So there should be some kind of common understanding amongst us
Yeah.
automatically
Yeah.
that
Literally.
maybe with a person who is not of our skin color, that common understanding is not so automatic.
Yeah, because they
Because,
haven't had the
that's
same
right.
experience.
You know, they haven't struggled with what we've struggled with. They may have had what they call white privilege.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the difference is. I can give a personal example again. We had a forum, not had, it still exists,
Mhm.
for people who, when I was in school.
Mm.
So on this forum, they were speaking about this particular teacher, and this was now only white people who were speaking about this teacher. Oh, he was a very nice man, very good. He did this and he did that, and he was always, supportive of the pupils, and so on and so forth. I wrote on there and said that teacher was a piece of crap. That's what I said, word for word. So, because people know me and they know I say what I mean and I say exactly what I mean, John, what happened?
Yeah.
Not, oh, we don't believe you, because they know me and they know I
Yeah.
don't joke with my words.
Yeah.
So they will ask me, well, what happened? Why have you said that? So I said, listen, I said, the experience that you guys as white people had with that teacher are vastly different than the ones I had with the same person
Yeah.
as a teacher, because he was very much a nurturing teacher to people who looked like him.
Yeah.
But for the ones who didn't look like him, we people of color, he was like the devil from hell. He
Yeah.
hated us like poison. He was as racist as they could ever be. And we've gone through that in school 5, 6 years in what was, what you guys now call high school and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've gone through that with a terrorist, but he wasn't terrorizing the white people, just the black ones.
Yeah.
You know what that man said to me? Um, just before I finished school, he said, um, I don't expect you to amount to anything. Um, Probably even some few years after you've finished school and whatever, you'll probably go to jail and go to prison. That was what he said. So we had a reunion. Some people maybe heard my lies before they know the story. We had a school reunion. This was, I think, the second one we had. We were now, by that age, we were 22 when we met for that second reunion. So he was invited to the reunion. I don't know who invited him, because I was the one who actually instigated the reunions,
Mm.
but I didn't have anything to do with the invitations of teachers and so on. So I didn't know he was invited. Anyway, I I was at actually, by then I was already preaching. I was at a meeting. I was dressed very nicely, and from my youth until today, I dress proper. Everybody who knows me, That day, I said, "Ha, I'm going to the reunion, so I need to stifle them."
You know how it
Yeah, you
goes.
know what I'm saying. So I had on a nice suit, red bow tie,
Yeah.
red shoes,
Mhm.
and I was driving a nice car, Jaguar XJ6 Sovereign. That's the car I was driving. 22 years old. So I drove there. He saw the car driving coming up, and he must have thought somebody's being chauffeur driven,
Mm.
because he was standing at the outside. What do you call it? I don't even know what you call it. I can't think of the right word. Just on the outskirts of the building.
Mm.
And you could see the car coming up. He must have thought, oh, who's this being chauffeur driven?
Mm.
So I've driven my car, I've parked it up, and I've stepped out. I've walked straight up to him and shook his hand. Proper bad man handshake. and he's like, "What? John Chambers?" Said, "Yes, of course." And do you know that slime repeated to me what he had said all those years ago? I'm surprised, he said, because I thought that you would have been in prison by now. Do you know what I told him? I said, yes, I am in prison. because by then I was actually working as a discipline officer in Her Majesty's Prison Service. And that's what I told him. I said, yes, I'm a discipline officer in Her Majesty's Prison Service. The man nearly passed out on the spot. Right? Nearly passed out on the spot. So that's our experience. So when we've already got that going on, why must we then do it to ourselves?
Yeah.
All over again?
Because that's exactly what it is.
Right? Why should we do that? Oh, you're from small island. You don't know Jamaica is different. You're from blah blah blah. You don't know that's
we're different.
We don't eat
we're
that.
We're not like you lot.
We know them people from small island. Them young monkey.
Even my friends, right? We were having this discussion. I can't remember because sometimes we talk about quite a lot of things also that people don't want to talk about, but sometimes it gets a bit heated, of course. And we were speaking about obviously we were speaking about Africans and Caribbeans, and this was something to do with some sort of gang related thing. And one of the people said, "Oh, well, whatever happened in that situation, that must have been Caribbeans, because African people, because African people don't stay like that." So I didn't say anything. My other friend didn't say anything. She left it for a bit. And then she asked her, because my other friend, if there's something that's bothering her, she can't keep quiet. She has to say something. So she said to her, "What exactly are you talking about when you're saying, oh, that's Caribbean people things? It's not African people things." And then the girl then went on to say, "Well, Africans an African wouldn't hurt another African. So it must be Caribbeans, because Caribbean and Caribbean would hurt each other, but African and African wouldn't hurt each other." And then my friend said, "Well, guess what? Both of them were African that were in the gangs, and they both hurt each other." Then she's, "Oh, well, well, I thought they were from a certain area."
You thought, but you were wrong.
Exactly.
Because this is where the identity crisis issue is.
Yeah.
That this versus.
And I'm not even gonna, it makes sense because, well, I'm not even gonna say, because that's gonna connect too many dots. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You can see where she's got these sort of ideas from. And like Dad said, it comes from home.
Yeah, because that's where it begins, with those parents who are busy talking nonsense in the house.
Yeah.
And the children and young people are listening to that, and then have to unravel it on the street.
Yeah.
Or
until
in high
people
school.
are telling them, "What rubbish are you chatting?" And they're not understanding how they're wrong.
That's right.
It's explained.
Let's talk about now two things that are also controversial, and it's the same versus. Because I told you we wouldn't stay on here for very, very long. But
the time's going already.
It's really moving. If time is moving along, we talk well. But let's talk about the skin color and the hair. Let's go there.
This is all.
Let's go there.
For me, especially
females, especially is an issue here.
For me, especially, I've had that issue all my life, my whole life. The same dry stories and comments, and "Oh, I wouldn't understand," like, because for me, for majority of my life, I've always had my natural hair. There was a short period of time where I relaxed it, but when I got to about 14, 15, then I stopped. And since then, natural, just this is how my hair grows, this is my hair. And I've always, for majority of the time as well, I haven't really worn weaves or not even really braids really much either.
And Dad used to plait her hair a lot and put hundreds and hundreds of bobbles in it.
Because I love the bobbles.
She used to drain me. Every color under the sun, and she used to have about 300. So she had to have like 50 plaits.
Yeah.
And Daddy used to do it.
This one, Dad. That's what I used to always say.
Daddy used to do it.
Always. And the thing is, I think because maybe I didn't wear weaves often or wigs or whatever, people automatically must think, "Oh, because she's not wearing weaves or wigs or braids, there must be her hair must be extremely low maintenance.
Hmm.
And that's always been the thing. Oh, you wouldn't know
Not
because
even
your hair's
slightly.
easy. Your hair's easy to do. Excuse me? Easy to do. People don't understand. If anybody who has natural hair and has had natural hair for a number of years, they know it doesn't matter what texture it is. It's not easy to have natural hair. Yeah, because it takes a lot of care and work. You have to you have to actually put your time into your hair. You don't just plait it up and fling some wig on top and you're gone outside. You know what I mean? People they can just wake up, their hair's done, they're ready to go.
And when they take the wig off, you are scared.
Exactly.
Because they look like a rooster.
Rooster, you know? Yeah, but even that, you know, people are like, oh yes, you, or even like before, my friend, you wouldn't be able to do my hair because you don't know about my hair because you don't have black hair. That's what they said. And I said, really?
I don't have black hair.
Yeah, because that's the black people.
This is not black hair.
Yeah, what rubbish? What rubbish are you chatting?
It's not black hair, is it?
And even when I straighten my hair, then it's you see, look at your hair straight. That just proves that you don't have black people hair. Because when my hair's straight, it's extremely soft, like and silky. But even when it's like this, it's still soft. It's just very tight curls. I said to my friend, let me blow dry your hair. No, you can't do it. You won't know what to do. I said, let me just try. Listen, I blow dried her hair in about 10 minutes. I said, what? This is easy.
Compared with yours.
Yeah. I said, you don't even know what you're talking. I said, your hair is easy and soft. It was like, I can't even describe. It was like velvet. Her hair was so soft and like supple. And she's trying to tell me, oh, I wouldn't understand because my hair is not coarse like hers.
It's a self-hatred thing.
Yeah.
That is driven into us from above.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
For
Never
real.
mind about who you want to label it on.
Yeah.
It just comes from above.
It comes from above, yeah. And it makes then people like me who it's like, oh, you don't know, oh, you're not sure where you stand because it's like people are telling you you're not like us because your hair's not exactly the same texture or your curls are not as tight as my curls. So therefore you're not as valuable and you don't understand the struggles or how it feels to have this type of hair. That doesn't make any sense. No sense at all. How can you try to tell me I don't have the same struggles with my hair when I still use this? I'm using the same products as you. I'm still having to wash my hair. I have to twist it. I have to grease my scalp. All of these things that you also should be doing or are doing. And you want to tell me I don't understand. Even before, I've gone to places and I've had my hair out. I mean, many of you that watch the lives or know me personally anyway, you know I do often wear my hair out, just that in its natural state. I'm gone to places or I've been in places, oh, your hair, it's, oh, it's a problem. When I went to the orthodontist, he tried me, I just had to control myself, right? Because I didn't know I had an orthodontist appointment because my mum didn't tell me. She picked me up and said, oh, come on, we have to go to the orthodontist. So I was like, okay. And I had my hair out. And this day I was getting my x-rays done for my teeth. And then the man was putting the thing on my head. And of course, my hair was in the way. So I moved it like this. And then the man made a comment. This is a white man, and said something like, oh, yes, maybe next time when it's your appointment, you don't leave your hair so poofy because it's getting in the way of the machines. And I just said, oh, really? And he said, yes, but it's fine. This time we've managed. That's what he said to me. And I just was just like, ugh. And I just didn't say anything. Right. And I know.
And he's lucky I wasn't there.
Could you imagine? Yeah. Mum didn't even hear though, because she was on the other, Mum, she can't be near if we're getting anything done.
I know.
She gets all
she'll faint.
Yeah. So she was in the waiting room bit.
She would have jumped on him as well anyway.
Of course. Yeah. And I just thought, you see what I'm talking about. But then, yet in the same breath, people who are supposed to be the same as me would then tell me I've not had any experiences or understanding when it comes to the hair and the prejudice that comes with having your natural hair or wearing your natural hair in a professional environment, as they would call it. Even people that are telling me, oh, don't wear your hair out to an interview because they might not want you if your hair is all puffy and big and curly. It's better to have it, sleek, so it looks more professional. And who are the gatekeepers of what hair is professional and non-professional? The same ones that taught you to hate your hair in its natural state.
And then you buy into that.
Yeah. And spread it on.
Fight each other over the very same thing.
Yeah. I don't know what YouTube is trying, mate. They're trying a thing today.
You fight each other over the very same thing.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, we're probably hit 1:30, 1:45 and we'll finish.
Yeah.
One of the things that is an issue is the fact that because people won't acknowledge the truth of what actually goes on in this versus business, young people have no understanding of identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm British. What does that even mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm African, but I'm not African
like that. That's what they say.
I'm not African.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
Because really, even if you were to go and ask a British person, am I British or am I African? They're going to say you're African. And I'm talking British white person, by the way. Or they're going to say, yeah, you were born here, but you're African. That's what they're going to tell you, whether you're African or British.
And you see, there should be no shame in holding on to your identity,
no,
whatever it may be. And now, okay, we don't have to have an answer to give to people. Where do you come from, and all of this, and then you answer, well, I'm from this, I'm from that, and get into the new. No, where are you really from?
Yeah,
all of these type of questions. I don't answer those people at all. And if I do, I'll give them an answer that they will never ask me another question. Right? That's how I will deal with them.
You already know.
Because
I start questioning them.
Yeah, I do that. Because they're already, they're being out of order.
Yeah.
But for you yourself, personally, you must be comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
And being comfortable with who you are, you first have to know actually who am I?
What's my heritage?
What's my heritage? Culture? Where do I fit?
Yeah.
How do I fit? Because you see, even what Tamar was saying about the hair thing, for instance, okay, I didn't know my grandparents on any side, neither my mum's side nor my dad's side. They were already gone before I was born.
Yeah.
She's privileged enough to know hers. So let me use my own father as an example. When we talk about the hair now, for instance, let's use him as an example. What did you guys used to always do to him? And why?
Because his hair was soft.
Yeah. And had he ever...
And fluffy.
He didn't texturize his hair.
He did nothing to it.
He didn't put any chemicals in there. He put hair oil in there. He put... I'll soon tell you what it was. Some old-fashioned thing that he put in there. Some...
I can't remember the name.
It had a rose smell to it. Something pomade, but I've forgotten the first name of it. But it had like a roses smell to it. So his head always smelled sweet. Yeah. And that's what he put in his scalp, and his hair. And his hair was silky soft. Yeah. Silky.
Seriously soft.
And why is that? Because we're talking about heritage, foundational, because he always said, oh, well, we didn't come from such and such place, we came from elsewhere. Yeah. And now we've talked about some of this another time. Yeah. But the reason why I'm saying it is because when people don't know even where they come from, this is why they're then despising other people and not understanding even who they were as a
Yeah.
people. You don't fit anywhere.
Hmm.
So then this is why they then try to grab and grasp at certain identities. Oh, well, I don't want to be, I don't want my children should be born to a Jamaican because I'm a Jamaican. Or my
Yeah. All
children should be
this sort
born
of
to a
stuff.
this because I'm a this. Because they don't fit and they want to fit somewhere and then know that, well, my family fits there. We can't do that because this is why we're all fighting against each other, young people. And then that's why you get the boys then who form a gang.
Yeah.
And that gang which they form on the road, roadman gang, there's no color involved.
Or
There's
even
no
culture.
culture. It's roadman culture.
Yeah.
Roadman culture is different. And
Mhm.
that's mixed. There's Africans of all different
Yeah.
countries of Africa can be in that gang. You'll have Nigerians, Ghanaians,
Hmm.
Cameroonians.
Yeah.
They're all in that gang.
Yeah.
You'll have Jamaicans. You'll have people from St. Kitts background,
Yeah.
UK British born. They'll all be in the same gang, and they all speak the same, sound the same, and behave the same.
Yeah.
Where there's a bigger issue is with the females, actually,
Mm.
because they like to divide because of their hair, because of their skin color, and
Honestly,
all these type of
obsessed
things.
with those things.
They're
Yeah.
absolutely obsessed with it.
Hmm.
Till you get some of them bleaching,
Yeah.
and all of
And
that.
wearing wigs or not even wearing wigs, but it's the what people that wear wigs to replicate a certain hair texture.
Hmm.
And they're doing it purposely, not just because, oh, I like this wig, it's nice. Because there's nothing wrong with wearing wigs. Every color of person wears wigs, even though they want you to believe it's only a brown person thing. White people wear them all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, constantly.
Oh
You
yes,
just don't know.
and they wear
Yeah, weave.
weaves,
Yeah.
extensions,
Hmm.
and so on and so forth.
Yeah. The same as brown people.
Nothing wrong with any of that.
Yeah.
It's that you must just know, because I'm looking at the time. I want to cut this off
Hmm.
anyway. Um, whether you came from Jamaica,
Mm.
one of the other islands of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
whether you came from Africa,
Hmm.
and there are many countries there within Africa.
Yeah.
Africa is not a country; it is a continent,
Oh,
contrary to the beliefs of some.
yeah, that's a
Oh,
whole
they're
next thing.
Africans. What do you mean?
Where from?
From where?
Because that's what I always say. Okay,
Because
where?
East Africans are quite different than West Africans, for
Yeah,
instance.
for real.
And I know that personally.
Hmm.
South Africans are different again.
Yeah,
North Africans today, they want to tell you that they're not Africans.
yeah.
They're trying to make them European.
European.
But that's a whole nother story in itself. So this whole thing of versus, we need to cut it out because we're one people. We start from the top. We are one people because we're all humans.
Yeah,
When we go down, from that position, and then we want to look at coloration, we're still the same.
yeah.
But we also need to know that and teach it and pass it on to children and young people.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
we
all.
need to do
That's
better.
it. That it doesn't matter. Oh, I don't want my son to marry. No, 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 no. I don't mind if my daughter or my son marries anybody from anywhere, as long as the person is a human being. I don't mind. And as long as, this is me saying, they can still choose to do what they like. But as long as, from my point of view, my daughter marries a man, my son marries a woman, I'm done. That's cool.
Mhm.
Don't bring to me, you're a female and you're bringing a female and telling me you're married. Don't come to me with that. Or you're a male and you're bringing a male to me and you're telling me you're married. Do not try that because we can't talk about that.
Your business.
You go and do that one by yourself. I'm very clear on that one. There's no flexibility whatsoever in that one. I won't be at the wedding. I won't endorse the wedding. I won't be involved in the wedding. I've got nothing to say about it. That's not discrimination. That's Bible.
Exactly.
All right? That's
It
God.
tells you cannot.
That's God. And that one is a different story.
Once again.
That's different. Any other? You want to marry Jamaican, Chinese, French, Japanese, whatever? Not, I don't mind, but the lesbian and homosexual business, don't come with it.
Mm.
That's me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
Well, I would just say that, kind of building on what Dad said, it's important that as young people we try to educate each other and explain to each other that these prejudice ideas and thoughts are wrong and they need to be done away with.
Yeah.
It should end now. Why are we still against each other? Can't we see that all these years being against each other is only holding us back and stopping our community, if that's what you want to call it, if stopping our community from developing and moving forward and being better. We have more things to deal with than fighting within ourselves, and we need to just do better. Really, that's it.
That's it.
That's all I have to say.
Well, cool. So thanks for joining us and being with us. God bless, and we will see you
Soon.
We can't definitely say if it will be next week, but as soon as we can, we'll be back with another interesting topic.
Yes.
Good night. God bless. Thank you.
Good night. Yeah.